Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So I've got the overnight high up here and the overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. So I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. Now starting off, we have this uptrend, break, and a push up to a new high. So when an uptrend has a break and a new high, we can expect an attempt to reverse because the uptrend is now considered played out. Uptrends and downtrends play out by either making a new high or a new low for a downtrend, or two attempts. Even if it doesn't make the new high, two attempts will often act as a played out trend. And so we rush back below here. This is a great place to look for a reversal pattern, so a failed second entry, but we just don't get that here. We do have a strong push below, and then we just start going sideways into this range. Now, you can kind of see that there's two legs higher within this range, within this chop, but it's still very choppy. You don't want to enter right into these lows right here. But it is good to be able to read through what the chop is doing. And so we push out lower here. We get this breakout pullback. It rushes back in. It's just a very bullish first entry. I wouldn't want to enter on a breakout pullback like that. You'd want to see two attempts, actually holding below. But anyway, we push on lower here. There's no shorts on the way down. This one doesn't even reach the EMA. You only have one attempt to fade right here, a new low, and then first attempt again after that new low. So there's nothing to take on this way down. But we get a very strong push out of the overnight low here. Now, when you break an overnight level, you can expect price to attempt to fade back in. And so as we get this sharp fade back in, clearly this downtrend has a break. And just like over here, with this downtrend break expecting new high, we can expect a new low for this downtrend. And so we start making an attempt at a new low right here. So downtrend, break, first attempt lower. Now we can look to get in on the second attempt at a new low. Say from right here it forms a clear failed second entry holding below the overnight low and the EMA with room here. Then we could look for a short, but we just don't get a setup for that. We just get this kind of we rush above and hold above the EMA multiple times and basically get this bad lower high right into this trend line. And so at this point here, this is a failure right here. So we have this downtrend, break, first attempt lower, second attempt lower, failure. So just like I was saying over here, it doesn't necessarily need a new high. It could also just use two attempts. And in this case here, we get, after the break, we have first attempt lower, second attempt lower, failure. Also off that trend line right there. Extremely strong reaction to the failure. Rush back above, hold above we close back above the overnight low right here. So we're not entering into any resistance at that point. It is just a really big entry, but you have room to that measured move that's in play right there. So what this does is this failure forms a big picture two-legged break. So sometimes people can get confused, when I talk about two-legged breaks, because sometimes you'll get a one-legged break. Like at first right here, when this downtrend got this break, this is just a one-legged break, but we can still look to make a new low immediately, of course. But oftentimes when you get, because price action levels get bigger as more time goes on, you'll get a couple attempts at a new low and then it'll fail, and then you'll get bigger picture attempts at a new low sometimes. And so that's what happens here. We get first attempt lower, and on that second attempt lower, we get the failure, and that failure forms a two-legged break. So that's often how two-legged breaks will form, just for anyone who's confused about that. So anyway, at this point here, notice I have this blue circle area. We have this downtrend, two-legged break, still expecting a new low. Now I wasn't really paying much attention here because it was just right after this huge long. So I didn't get anything here, but this is a good looking area to attempt to get in short as long as you have room to the overnight low here. So you would need a limit order. But anyways, we push on lower here. As soon as we get that two-legged break with still expecting a new low, we immediately get two legs down, retesting the overnight low. And, we attempt to reverse. And so I'm going to explain something similar to what I was just explaining here. Whoops, there we go. So when we get these two legs down here, it's like downtrend, break, new low, and then an attempt to reverse higher right there. Now, when we start pushing lower here, it becomes a little bit easier to see that this is also one leg on a bigger picture. So what was two legs down is now one leg, break, two legs. So now we have two legs down from here. Now, so just like the failure at a new low right here formed a two-legged break, the reversal attempt is what actually is the break from this one leg down. So two legs down, reversal, but then the reversal failed. What that forms on a bigger picture is downtrend, break, and then second leg down, so two-legged move down on a bigger picture. And so when we start finding resistance down here, that's when this range becomes very clear. You know, once we start finding resistance from this previous swing, the overnight low is right in the middle, acting as the midline. So this range is very clear at this point. We're very sideways. EMA is sideways. And so right here, we break out. Most breakouts fail, but you know, you don't want to enter right into the into this level here, and we just don't get a clear entry yet. We just start finding, you know, resistance, getting very sideways here. And then finally we fade back in very strongly, but then immediately we rush back down. But we actually do hold onto this low right here. Now you still don't want to enter right into the EMA, especially when it's down and it's been down all day and you just had a sharp push down. But when we actually push back above and get a, you know, this bullish bar here, this does look good. You know, after this bar right here triggers, this does look good to attempt to get in with a limit order, but this slipped away from me. I was basically busy working on a post at this point, so slipped away from me here, but this does look like a good area just to ride to the other side if you could have gotten filled with a limit order, you know, after this green bar gets filled here, after it ticks higher. And so we push on up here, and I just want to show that at first this downtrend, the highs were right here off of these highs, and then we broke them and started pushing lower, and then eventually I extended it to off of that high, and now it's still holding right now. But at the time, I want to put it to how it was at the time. So we push out, we break this trend line, we push back into the overnight low, we start pushing back out, so we don't, you know, we're kind of reacting to it, but we did have quite a fade before pushing lower here. And so we have this leg down, break. We can expect a second leg down. And I just want to mention that from here we have this new low. We have one attempt to fade the overnight low at this point, break, and then this is a second attempt to fade it right here, but it is getting very choppy and sideways, so I would not want to actually go short right here. But we do push lower. After we make a couple swings is when I adjusted this trend line here. But yeah, you know, this looks like a good area to look for something, but it just got a little bit too choppy and sideways. If we could have gotten too much clearer attempts to fade, then we could have found a short there, but, you know, this is just not ideal. And so anyway, we do have a couple legs down from there. Push back up, we start forming this wider channel. These lows are fitting well, these highs, you know, there's a couple off the highs that, you know, we don't really have three bounces, but these lows are fitting well. We're in this downtrend. We still have this measured move down here still in place. So once again, we have downtrend, two-legged break, first attempt lower, and then second attempt lower right here. And right here, we broke out of this range right here. It was clearly a valid range. We broke out. Now, this right here, I viewed this as two attempts to fade, but we did make a count reset right here. So it was actually kind of about how strong the reaction was, because easily it could have had not as strong a reaction. You know, when you see two attempts to fade, you want to see them. You don't want to see a count reset within them. And so I was kind of worried about that, but you know, it still reacted as if two clear attempts to fade, which you do have two attempts. It's just borderline, almost a double bottom, but you know, because I'm not too concerned about the wick. I'm more looking at these bodies here. How these bodies went a little lower than here. But, you know, it still reacted as if two attempts to fade, downtrend, break, expecting a new low. And so I did like this right here. You know, target around this area is kind of forming resistance, but pushing lower still, very bearish. So I wasn't too worried about pushing it lower just by a tick or two. But we push on lower here. We start finding resistance, and then it looks like, you know, we could be forming some kind of highs right here, but let me remove this just for now. So we push lower here. Downtrend has now made a new low, but we still have this measured move in play, so we can still look for shorts. Now, from here, ideally, we could have just gotten 2 clear legs up, retesting the low of this range and the key entry point at the same time. But instead, we just get 1 sharp leg up doing that, and that's not enough. You want to see 2 legs, not just 1. And then it starts getting very choppy very quickly. And then at this point here, I just want to mention that on a bigger picture, let me kind of make this clear. If I extend this line to there, this still looks kind of like one downtrend. It's not, it's not too far off. And then we have a break from that, and it looks like we're getting 2 attempts at a new low from it. So sometimes that'll happen. But you do have your downtrend break, new low, attempt to reverse, but it failed to reverse. And so that's why, and since it failed to reverse, that's why, it looks like it's making a break in 2 attempts from this wider channel. So, you just got to be dynamic with extending your structures and, noticing bigger picture structures form in real time. But yeah, so I kind of lost where I was here. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I kind of lost where I was. We were at the end anyway. I didn't like anything in this area. It's just looks like we're kind of forming a range, like I was saying. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope it helped out in some way, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.